Well, American Punch was founded in 1990, and they started in the structural steel stamping industry. So we make punches and dies for heavy gauge steel, whether it's structural steel for roofing, bridges, truck frames, very heavy involved rough processes. And so they also purchased with the acquisition of a company called Delta Tech that dealt in more precision type stamping, which involves stamping for the automotive industry, appliances, later gauged type of stamping. Manufacturing has become very difficult to keep up with demands. Everybody's implemented what's called lean manufacturing, and in that case with lean manufacturing, they don't want to carry stock. They want to keep their costs down as much as possible, so forethought on their end sometimes gets pushed on to the manufacturer, which means faster production rates, carrying more stock. So how do we keep up with those demands in a timely fashion? When people institute the lean manufacturing, they used to order 200 pieces. They used to order 100 pieces, 300 pieces at a time for their stock. They don't want to do that anymore. So when that changes, that means that we're getting orders, obviously, for 1, 5, 10, maybe 100 pieces. So now instead of where I had one guy running 2 machines on production at 300 pieces, 200 pieces, I no longer have that efficiency. There's no way that this is possible where you can't have multiple lengths. Why do I have to communicate separately to each individual item or ancillary equipment tied to this machine? So our process and what I wanted to see was to be able to tie these parts together in tandem, the 1, the 5, the 10, rather than having a setup on each part. So that's really what drove me to focus in on what it would take to make that happen. So at this point, we were able to ascertain that there was a bar feed system out there that would enable us to be able to communicate between the machine itself and the bar feed. And so that came down to being an Ethernet Connect system. And so it was new to the system of what we were used to and what we wanted to do. And it made sense that we were able to join these different length parts together. And so what it's been, the Ethernet system has been able to help us as a company to take these 1-piece, 5-piece, 50-piece orders, join them together with varying lengths, and be able to run really without a manned employee there, to be able to run at night, to get parts that would normally take us 5 minutes a piece and run through the night on 8 hours, and join that with another group of parts, so that of course in the morning when we come in, those parts are done. But this way we're able to take an operator who is more skilled and more valuable to the company and utilize him in a way that he's just babysitting that machine, but he can set it up in the morning, and he knows that that's going to be able to run through the whole day. At the end of the day, he can set that machine back up. It can run through the night. He doesn't have to worry about it. And then I can use his skill set better to be on other machines where he is actually needing to set up the parts, needing to change out tooling. And so it's a better utilization of the employee base, as well as better utilization of the time, and effort and energy and tool life on the machine itself. So we at American Punch have always prided ourselves in implementing new technology, new functionality, and so this bar feed has really allowed us to increase productivity. How it's helped us is in our production line for stock, parts that we actually keep on the shelf for the customer. We would have a baseline of 5,000 parts a week that would come out, and we have a production schedule. We try to meet with that, but with everything else that's coming in for what we're making specific for a customer, starts to inhibit that, so we fit them in where we can. By being able to implement this one machine that we set up to be able to run on its own, be able to run at night and tie these together so that instead of waiting for this production to get done at 50 pieces and it stops, waits for an operator to reset it up, it just keeps going. So in instituting that, we have been able to run all our stock just on the one machine and keep up with stock, in some instances actually run out of stock for that machine. So it's been quite significant for American Punch to implement that into our production process. Working with LNS, checking out different bar feeds. When you go to like the IMTS show, you go about looking at all the different avenues of different companies, and you try and find the right person in that company, maybe on the floor, to get the questions or the answers to the questions that you're looking for. So when I came across LNS, I had very specific questions that I was looking for, very specific problems I was trying to address, and they were able to really work with me and help me to understand the functionality of the bar feed, what they're capable of, what they're not capable of, and so it's been very beneficial working with LNS.